growing up, I thought I would become either a soldier or a journalist.
That's a good one.
Actually, business at some point is stressful.
Network with other people, just have the curiosity to even start a business, because it will not come just like that.
Ladies have that potential, inner potential that people can't see with their bare eyes.
I said I want to be part of the solution to the country, but I'm not going to go in a commercial kitchen. So I said I'm going to train myself other skills that I was not trained in the cooking school.
Hi guys, we're happy to be here. My name is Tony, and very happy to be on the Youth Unmoderated Dialogue.
My name is Fiona, and as you can see, I'm a chef.
Hello, my name is Joa Grace Nijena. I'm a baker.
Hi, my name is Nicole Wamaria. I'm a CEO and co-founder of a company called Geuza. I think I will talk more about that later.
Hello, my name is Sharon Murigo, and I'm an entrepreneur and a marketer, and I'm very happy to be here.
Hello guys, my name is Gasero Rahma. I'm an agripreneur, and my company is called Inzora Farm Limited. I'm happy to be here.
As you see us here, we are women entrepreneurs, as my fellow women have stopped talking about that, and we're here to talk about us in the business, our journey in the business, some of the challenges that women face in business as we start and as we go on the way, and again how we can break them so as to build empires that people like us and fellow youth and women dream about. So I think I can pass on the mic to my friend here to talk about her business and some of the challenges that she has met.
Maybe I'll just share a little bit about my journey in the business. So, as I said, I'm a chef, but that's not how it started. Many years ago, when I was a bit younger, this year is my last year in the youth group. So, when I was growing up, I really wanted to be a chef, but the opportunities were not there because right then is when I think RTUC was starting. So when I finished my senior six, I performed very, very well, but the only opportunity that was there was for me to go to the National University of Rwanda at that time. So I went and did economics, which I performed very well, got a job, but truthfully, I felt like I was not living. So a few years later, I decided to go to cooking school and graduated in 2019 as a mother. You can imagine that was difficult to go back to school. I, at some point, had to stay away from my child for 1.5 years because I really wanted to be a chef. So when I came back, I decided that before I go to business, I wanted to first learn about the Rwandan culture in terms of food. As we all can agree, we are just coming up in that field. So after that, I realized that where my heart is are trainings and experiences. So I have a company called Cooler Bridge, and what I do, like the name suggests, is I remove all the bridges, all the gaps that are between people and food. I want to create a good relationship between people and food. So I train adults, I train children, I train foreigners. I've written a few cookbooks. I'll probably say more about that. Yeah, it's been a long journey, but worthwhile. I think let me give, the rest of
Just a
the.
small question.
Yes.
Yeah, you've talked about like food. We all love food because we are all here because we've ate. Because if you haven't eaten, you couldn't be having this strength to come and be here. So what is that motivation behind you joining the cooking school? Because anyone at home can cook. Like what is that motivation that made you to leave your child when you became a mother? Yes, you've talked away, you've had this dream while you were young, but there is that thing that really pushed you. There's that motivation behind you joining the cooking school, regardless of the degrees at the university, because we all know growing up, going to school, primary, secondary, university, you have to attain a degree. Most especially, that's how the African culture is built. Parents be like, go to school and get good grades, come look for a job. But for you, when you reached, I think your first year, or
No,
you
I
graduated.
actually graduated.
That's really nice.
And started
Yeah,
work.
yes. You're like, maybe, you see, mom and dad, the degree you've always wanted, it's here. Then there's that thing behind you leaving the degree behind and joining the cooking school. What is that motivation behind? Thank you.
So I'll take it back to now when I was a very little girl. I grew up from a small town in the neighboring country, Uganda. And I grew up with my mom. My mom loved cooking. So as a young girl, when she used to go to cook, she'll tell me, cut for me this, do this, do this. And for some reason, I really grew a love that is undeniable of cooking. Years later, my mom passed on, and for some reason, I lost a big gap then. For some reason, it caused me to hate food. I could not eat. I struggled a lot with appetite. And as a healing process, I realized that I was trying to avoid to actually be close to her, like to forget the memories. But it's not because I didn't like food. I went in one of the countries where I was, and we had this particular chef. This chef had cooked for very big people, and I saw the magic he would do it in the kitchen. And the person who didn't love food, my life started, like I came to life. I was like, oh, kumbe this can be something that you can make a career. This man was an older man, but he was earning good money from the expatriate community where we were in that time. And I was like, okay, I started really trying so much to learn more about it. But now I was maybe in senior 4, senior 5. When I came back to the country, I started searching about countries that where I can go and do the culinary school. But as you know, those years, I don't know, these days kids know about scholarships. But 28, we just didn't know. Or maybe I was just not sure. Maybe you guys knew, but I didn't.
That was the way it is.
Yeah.
It was like that.
So we just knew about the traditional schools. And I was like, let me go and study. When I met my fiance, now my husband, I was struggling to stay in school. I would go to class, but I really didn't like it. So I kept on lying to him that I've gone to class when I've not. And he was a serious guy. It's like, but every time I talk to you, you don't seem like you've actually gone to class. But I was lying to him that I went to class. And then he sat me one day and he's like, okay, what's the issue? you're a smart woman. Why don't you go to class? I told him, to be honest, I want to be a chef. And as a young guy, maybe 26, 27, he told me, you know what? He looked into my eyes and told me, I'll take you to school. I was like, I know he's just, because cooking schools are actually expensive. So I was like, I'll hold you to your word. So we got married, and he got a scholarship, a government-to-government scholarship to Korea. And when we're there, when we was almost finishing, he told me, okay, so time for you to go to school. Because I had got good grades in my university, I said that maybe I should go to do an MBA. And he said, no, that's not where your passion is. He really encouraged me to go after what I loved. But I remembered how people would discourage me. They said, like what you said, why go to school? How is that relevant? But I went back to school for 2 years, 1.5 years in school, 6 months in Dubai. And I can tell you, we'll probably share more. If you've gone to school, it's different from the person who has not gone to school. There's cooking, but there's a lot more that you can do with a craft if you've gone to school.
Thank you so much.
Just one last question before we move to to others. For me, okay, sorry about your loss.
It's okay.
Yeah. And again, I wanted to know where Kula Bridge is. Is it a restaurant or it's a cooking class? Like, yeah, so that if we want to eat, we know where to go.
For some reason, I don't like restaurants. So it's not a cooking. It's not a restaurant. Like I've said, I do cooking classes. This summer, I've been doing. I actually did 2 summer camps in 2 international schools, trying to give to these children what most of the parents now are so busy. So I wanted to give them a chance to experience what I experienced as a mother, as a young child with my mother, and really that gives me joy. So I do for adults, I do for children. Like I said, I write books, and I do like experiential dining. So people can put themselves together and come, and I cook for them. But currently, I'm working on focusing on the traditional food. Yeah.
I remember you came to your potluck sometime back, where we are just gathering for you bring your own cooking food. But I hope you will do that again because it's been a long
That was
time.
2019.
I guess so. Yeah, and it
Yeah.
was fun.
All right. Thank you for the questions.
Interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Very. Well, I don't think I just mentioned what I do. I didn't. Yeah, I'm sorry. So, a young entrepreneur, as I look, obviously. Yeah. I have a company. Well, what can I say? It's called Sour Protocol and Service. It deals with catering. I mean, weddings, parties, anything that gathers a lot of people. And we do provide service and protocols. So some days back, people used to like use family members, friends, the neighborhood. But sometimes you sit down and think. It happened to me when it was a family wedding. I was like, why? Why do I have to, like, struggle with all this, and I don't have to have my seat and look at what is happening? Why do I have to do this? That crossed my mind. And I have this friend of mine. She's a CEO of the company. The assistant. Yeah, that's how it went. But we sat together, shared some ideas. I was like, why do we have to like have a family gathering and we have to all like do all this by ourselves? Why can't we hire some people and sit, watch? It's our time. It's our, why? She was like, yeah, that's understandable, but again, how? We were young at that time. We're still dealing with college, university, but we thought we couldn't do that. But as time passed, she called me one time. She told me, you know what? I'm going to call my friends. We're going to put on uniform, take pictures, start posting. That's how the idea came. And I was like, are you sure about this? Of course you have that insecurity, you know, dark, like the dark insecurities. You're like, why? Are we gonna make it, or is it going to be a struggle? Because we didn't see any vision. We didn't see anything we didn't see anything coming upon that. But, God and open minds, I believe. We had that conversation. We called our friends and we were like, you know what? Suits, pictures, we're gone. But at the end of the day, we're here. So it's not a single. I mean, it's not an easy journey to go. But again, when you have a coworker that is, you know, strong, that can motivate you, let me tell you guys, you move. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the experience. Uh, I've heard that you just put you just wear something and just go. It's a business done, starting. And tell me how you can wake up. Most of us think like we in our thought we are just like, if I'm starting a business, I'm gonna need some capital, money, a venue, something. Tell me how you can just walk up, put on something, and just take pic, and you are just a business is established. Tell me, I need to know that. And again, you told us that you had that dark, dark insecurities. What has pushed you to go over that insecurities and just take a step in before to just start? Tell us.
A good question, though. Um, as we grow up, we think of so many things to do. You grow up thinking, having that dream job you want to do, having so many things, seeing so many people doing different businesses, and you're like, why not trying this? Why not trying that? But as I said, I had nothing in mind. I just had so many ideas, but again, capital. Capital. So, and when you're home, like dealing with college, you're studying, sometimes you feel like, am I gonna ask for school fees to my parents and then go ask for capital? It's challenging sometimes. But again, you think of so many things. At that time, there were no things like that. There were no things like protocol and service. So I thought, what can I do that doesn't require me so much capital? The only capital that I was requesting for at that time was the money to pay for a photographer. Very, very, very little money. So what I did, I just talked with my partner. She's called Olivia. She wasn't able to be here, but I believe next time. So she was like, yes, we need some little money to pay for the photographer. And after thinking about that, we thought we just gave it time. We didn't just wake up and we are like, let's go for pictures. Of course, we had some time. And as a prayer warrior, we prayed about it as well. So after some time, a month or two, we were just like, some money, we put it together, then we call someone for the pictures. So it wasn't something like we just woke up and we're gone, but it was just something that we just thought about, gave it time, prayed about it, then we gave it a try. Yeah. And the dark insecurities, like, as you know, the way the physical appearance of a person, um, that's a struggle that we dealt with because we both look very young. Yeah, we both look very young, but there is a time you get an opportunity to work with a person, but when a person says you talk with the person on the phone, and they'll be like, yeah, it's fine, you deal, but when it's the time to sign for the contract and you meet with the person, they'll be like, are you sure you're gonna make it? Are you sure? Are you really sure you're gonna make it? But at some point, um, we struggled with getting the first opportunity. Yeah, that's the first struggle. We struggled with getting our first opportunity, but when we got one, we went through the line. Yeah.
Yeah. I really loved what you're talking about, how you just had to start. I think I've also had a similar experience when I was starting my business. Is that I was sitting and I was thinking, well, where will I get the capital to start? And I was talking to someone, just a random conversation with someone, and I was telling them about how I was unhappy with the job that I was doing at the time, how I felt like I had so many more ideas and so much to offer. And they were telling me, well, okay, so tell me something that you think you can do. And I told them, well, I think I would be really good at catering because I've seen from experience people in my family have done that and have been really good at it. And she was like, exactly, you can start with that. What does it take for you to start a catering company? And I was like, well, it's going to take me so many things. I need dishes. I need a chef. I need all of these things. I don't have it. She was like, no, everything you need, you can rent dishes. You can find a chef, and you're going to ask for a down payment before you start. Get half of that money. They're gonna give you half of the money. Use it to do whatever. And just like that, I was able to start my business. So I really loved when you were talking about that, because sometimes I think as young people we get so wrapped up in perfection. Like it has to be perfect, it has to be Instagram ready, and all of these things. But actually you just have to start with one small thing and grow your business, even if your vision is very, very big. Like I have one
Exactly.
of my friends, we're talking and we're having a little bit of a disagreement, because she was like, well, for me, my ideas are in millions. You can't even understand it. They're like 30 million. I'm like, okay, I understand what you're saying, that you have big dreams, you have big places you want to go, but no one is ever going to trust you with something big until they've seen you do something small. So I guess I would say to everyone watching, and is that it's very important that you start small, and from that smallness, people can see your potential and you can be able to grow and build on that. Yeah.
Thank you so much. So as we move on, I feel like I want to hear something from you about your business. You told me you're
Agripreneur.
agribusiness.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's something interesting. I think, if I'm not mistaken, it might be something dealing with agriculture, right? Yeah. Manufacture, and yeah, we're happy listening from you.
Okay, thank you so much. I'm a farmer. Uh, like you said, I studied at Strathmore University back in Nairobi. I graduated with a Bachelor of Commerce, but I majored in marketing. So I'm not far from what I'm doing. Still, it's business. So, like, apart from farming, I'm also into supply. I do supply of fruits and vegetables. So I work with the hotels and restaurants on a day-to-day basis. So, yeah, That's it.
Your background story, how you started, how the idea came, you know, the challenges, how you struggled, how you faced them, how you overcame the struggles. I know.
You see, just like any other person growing up, like we all have dreams. Like when you're a kid, you'd be like, in future, I want to be this, I want to be a president, I want to be a minister, I want to be, this and that. But along the way, life happens and you find like you're doing something which is totally different from what you've been dreaming of. Or maybe you study and when you graduate from a university, you do something different because life happens. But now for me, it's not like life happened. Um, Growing up, I thought I would become either a soldier or a journalist.
That's a good one.
Yeah, it is. I loved the attire. Plus, also that zeal and patriotism motivated from the 1990 struggle till the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi when the RPA soldiers had to, come and rescue the country and restore it. And here we are now. So that was the main purpose behind. And it didn't happen. So I thought like maybe I would be a journalist. And then along the way, my mom was into journalism. By then, a certain, I don't know if I can mention it, but then it was called Orenforo. And I remember when I was in senior five, actually, but back in O level, I was an information prefect, communications. So each and every entertainment news, I was number one because I had a radio. The school could provide for us the radio. Soniteke Monayibuka. So there's a way the BASA could buy the dry cells per week so that I could be able to record the news and, be able to share with the students on the assembly. So I continued even in my A level, but now in A level it was not that easy. So I remember on visiting day when I was in senior five, my mom came. So like you see when you're sitting with the parents discussing this and that, I was like, but mom, I want to do journalism. She was like, no, journalism, leave it. Why don't you be a doctor? I was like, why doctor? And I'm doing Meg. By then I was doing mathematics, economics and geography. So it was totally different. You see, like a parent, there's a way she or he wants you to be like an engineer or a doctor or, these big um, courses. So I was like, okay, fine, let's see. For me, I had a dream that maybe I would one day work on Al Jazeera or BBC or CNN. That was my dream. So along the way, I got a chance to go and study business studies in Nairobi. Along the way, mom was like, okay, if you can't become like, you can't do sciences and become a doctor then, why don't you do ACCA or CPA? I was like, mom, let me give it a try. So first year, second year, I registered for ACCA. But now there was that thing calling, I was like, this is not my thing. Let me just continue with marketing and we see along the way what will happen. So I graduated. Coming back at school, there is a way they used to train us like, if you're here, you've come to study in this school, always have a mindset that you are going to create a job, not look for a job. Don't be a job seeker, but be a job creator. Here we train entrepreneurs. So you can find like Rwandese, you're the ones now studying just to look for, you come back and look for a job. And you could find like most of the Kenyans, even younger than us, would be having businesses. I was like, kuchinje habikora, if I am able to come and study here, how about if I go back home? What will I take home? So upon coming back, I had a friend of mine, he was into agriculture. Then I started asking, like, how do you do this? And you see, we all have a dream of being business owners, entrepreneurs, but again, there is a way, if you're not in business, sometimes there is she talked about perfectionism and, we need this big, to start big, but we forget that there is always that a small step, start small, then go bigger. She talked about it. So I was like, you see, if you really want to do business, come venture into agriculture. You start with a small amount of money, then as time goes by, consistency and doing what you love, you be bigger. So that's how I joined agriculture. But now, one of the motivation behind was, you see, as entrepreneurs, we always have to find a gap and fill that gap. By then, it's just 3 years ago. You can find like men, boys, the ones doing agriculture, and we know growing up, we could see agriculture was for like back in for the rural people. It's like if I can also do it, if someone in the rural area can do it, she or he is able to supply the bucket, and we go buy the same food from the same person from the rural area. How about us? So it was like, let me just join as a woman, as a young lady. You never know what the future holds. As an entrepreneur, someone who's been trained from school was like, let me join and fill that gap of having few girls, few women in this industry of agriculture. But now, a woman who has gone to school coming to gufata isuka, that's, science behind. People didn't understand that. They're like, you could come and look for a job, you have a degree, this and that. I was like, sibyangu, it's not mine. So that's how I joined agriculture. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for mentioning about entrepreneurs filling the gap. I think we can be partners because me also I'm dealing with vegetables and vegetables. I take vegetables and then incorporate them in bread so that I can produce a healthy bread. So my question is this: how do you deal with stress when vegetables are growing in a huge quantity? Because of course when I started a business I was looking in just tackling the post-harvest loss of vegetables. That's the first question. And again, are you a mom?
Interesting. First of all, I'm not a mom, I'm a young lady, single.
Good. That question will about moms. Maybe if you know, we go for it. Nicole, okay, thank you. I'm asking. I have been into business for 3 years now, and actually, business at some point is stressful. How are you dealing with the stress in, like, if I can mention, can I say stress or something? Ukuno abana bagorana in raising them and such, and the stress in business. How do you balance being a mom and being an entrepreneur so that they can complete each other without something being left out? Thank you. So you're going for the first question, and yeah, you go for the second.
Okay, thank you so much. So you've talked about like how do I deal with the stress when the crops are growing, when they're like plenty. So like I told you, my day-to-day business now, it's agriculture, it's seasonal. You have to wait for the season. You plant the crops, you have to wait for them to grow. The procedures you use, the fertilizers have to apply, the pesticides till the time of harvest. So like I told you, my day-to-day business is a supply. So I have a ready market. Just like you mentioned, we can work together. So please, let me be your client. I'll be supplying to you. Thank you.
Thank you. So for the second question, when you are asking about the moms, okay, I'm a mother of three girls. They are big one. My last born is 10 years. Yeah, I did it at young age. So for me, business, I feel like being a parent and being a business owner, the hardest part is being a business owner, to be honest. So yeah, I think for me, the parentinghood was smooth. from the pregnancy until where they are, because we talk much. We talk much. They always know if I have a stress in work, or before I becoming an entrepreneur, they always know, like, okay, now you're not working there, that office, you are here. So we have to talk about everything what is going on. And also I think it helps me on dealing with entrepreneurship stress, because I have to tell them, okay, maybe sometimes I scared them into that journey, but when it's really very stressful, I told them, like, yeah, it's that time, so that they know. They keep talking to each other, oh, mommy is stressed, business is so hard. But coming to how to handle kids, okay, they are different, because no one will look like the other one, or even in terms of personality, but you work them through according to the way they grow. You go with them, you talk, you also organize. Because for me, I think I like things which are very organized. So most of the time we talked about what we are going to do. So this week, on a Sunday, we say we are going to do this and this and this. You have to go to school, we wake up this, we do all of the things we plan. So when you plan it well and you're organized, yeah, yes, of course, as even a business, some challenges they will come, or maybe they will not do how they're supposed to be doing. But dealing with parenting is not as difficult as a business for me so far, because there are a lot of strategy you need to put into business. But for a human being, it's about how you communicate and how you talk to them, yeah, and how friendly you are with them to make it work. Yeah. I hope I answered your question. Don't worry about that. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, as I said, yeah, I'm a co-founder of a company called Geuza. Geuza is a Swahili name. I think for you understand it better. It means transform. Changwa guhinduranya. So Geuza, what we do, before I even said how we started, we transform electronic plastic waste, all these phones, laptop, fridge that are discarded, we throw them away, that can cause us other disease. So we take the plastic part, then we transform them into medical devices. But specifically for people with disabilities, injuries, and even elderly, or even other people who have chronic disease, like crutches, imbago, wheelchair, walkers. We are also planning to go into prosthetics. Yeah. So how it started, I was an employee, but I was in a startup as well. But at a young age, I always want to feel like, okay, because I did physics in uni, I always want to go into theory to practical. What are these things we are learning and we are writing and we are calculating is going to help us do? So that was the mindset behind even going to the physics, renewable energy. Because in renewable energy, we can do the biogas, we can do the briquetting, amatafari, mixing things, then you read, then you make something. So then I was like, I will do something. I will do something. But when you finish uni, you just realize, okay, that time my mindset was, you can't start a business without capital, without money. I tried to do, when I started my first job, I also started to do some business around, just going to Kampala, getting some clothes, giving to my friends, getting some money to see if, yeah, I can collect something. And then by the time, because I was going in the weekend, and I was like, yeah, business is not easy, because you have the work from Monday to Friday, then you go into that road trip. It was not easy, but I could see it going well. But okay, even if that time I was feeling like, okay, let me start with something I like clothes, I like outfit, I like people who are looking good. Yeah, because I was like, okay, I feel like if someone, even if you are sad inside, but when you look good, people will not ask you too much question. They will think you are okay, you are happy, you are what. Then I kept asking people, like, how do you get like really start a business, because I was feeling like this, I'm doing it for fun and also getting outfit for my friends. Of course, they they would pay, but this is not something I'm into. But that time, what I knew is just I want to be an entrepreneur, but not specifically feeling like what Fiona was saying about the food and what. We all love food, but we didn't think we are going to become chief as you. So I also went into programming, the coding, but that time it was because like, okay, I know physics, I know how I can turn things, but now the technology is moving faster. So I always wanted to be updated. I was like, I don't get behind. Then I was like, why can't I go into tech, get these courses, know how to code, then see what, maybe I will start a business from that part. When I graduated, I had a system that I wanted to launch. Then it was becoming difficult. But then I heard like, okay, you need to put money into it. Then I went back to employment. I was working in a startup. That's where I feel like maybe God put you in the right place so that you learn. Then I was learning from the like ideation to grow as a business. That's where I was like, oh wow, I can do this as well, but not doing the same. Because in that business, that's where I met many informal sectors, because I was connecting them. Then I met those people who don't have legs. I was very touched. I was like, how do you do this work? Then you don't have legs. They were carpenters, ababage. Then when we are talking, I wanted them to put on our platform. Then I didn't get that even to introduce them to that part, because I was like, you will be moving, then it will be difficult. We talked about their challenges, then it hit in my mind. Then I was like, okay, okay. Yeah, this is where it started. Then when I was that's where you figure out like, how can you start a business? So I tried to Google and ask around. I figured out there are a lot of programs out here for young people who want to become entrepreneurs, and they teach you, and they even give you funds to start. That's where I went. It was a very quite challenging and intensive, as it was saying that it's a really intensive program. I was like, I don't have fear. Let me go and learn how they do this. If they're going to give me money, that's how I started the business. Yeah, the program is called Jasil Talent Investor. Yeah. Yeah, it's for Rwandan, Kenyans, and Ethiopians. Yeah, we share the link after. Maybe they will pay for the marketing.
Yeah, thank you, ladies, for sharing your experience. I have a question. Anyone can answer this. So my question is, what is one thing that made you want to quit business, and why did you decide to go forward anyway?
Did you just mention quitting business, or like elaborate?
I'm saying, okay, so I know like business can be challenging. Being an entrepreneur can be very challenging. And at one point you can reach somewhere and you think, I'm done. What is that one thing that pushed you to that place of being like, I don't want to do business anymore? And why did you decide to continue? The reason I ask this question is because so many people enter business. So many women, men, they decide to start a business. But I think one of the things that I've learned about being an entrepreneur is that if you just keep going, you will start many businesses, they will fail. You start another one, it fails. But the people who end up ultimately being successful are the ones who keep going even after failure. So, what is the thing that pushed you to want to end business, and why did you continue?
Thank you so much. Well, like my colleague had mentioned it earlier before, like there's that point where you reach like there is stress. Maybe the cash flow is not enough, and maybe the clients are not paying on time. That challenge. But you see, in life, when you know what you want, you go for it regardless. Because in this life, it's always ups and downs. So when you know what you want, regardless of what life may throw at you, and another thing, when you love what you're doing, you always find joy in it, regardless of the challenges. Trust you me. Like for me, there's a point it reached like, maybe I should quit. Maybe I should start using my degree. And it's like, no, there's something I'm aiming for. Regardless of how many businesses I may start and they fail, the one day, I will go through this and, make it, because there's always that one thing that I've always wanted. So through, the consistency of doing what you're doing and not giving up, you end up, remaining in business, and you end up loving it. Yeah.
Talking about those barriers that can just hit us and just like what can I say? Being a barrier that can just tell you, you are a woman. You're meant to be there. Go there. That's the end. I will be talking about all the opportunities that we can get from maybe the government and partners to the government. Me, myself, when starting my business, I had no idea, even. I didn't have any idea about the business that I'm going to do. I'm going to tell you why. I was like in university. I thought I would be there looking for jobs, as my colleagues has even mentioned. But coming out, I've realized that there is that power in doing the thing that will keep you independent every day. That's to mean, like, if you are earning a salary on a monthly basis, that's meaning that your salary is your life. That you're not growing, you're just living in that amount of money. So in the beginning, when I was out of university, I just have had an academic for women, and they were just learning business and coming out with your idea, the idea of business you're going to do. Just learning business, and again came out the academy knowing that business you're going. Can you imagine? And I applied. Even my family members, they couldn't understand that, because no one in my family is a business person, to tell you. No one in my family is a business person. All are employed. So I remember telling my mom that I have won that scholarship to learn business. So she was like, "What is that? How are you going to study business? You've studied food science and technology. We know there is a place in the market. We know people needs those guys that have started food science and technology, and why are you going to study business? We will see. We have no idea about what you're going to do, but we will see." That's what she has told me. And along I'm going to like, to cut it short, I have studied in that academy, got seed funding, and after I started the business, within a year I was short on cash flow. Within a year, I remember sitting in my office and just wonder, where am I going to find money? Where? Money. I was like, what is this? Maybe I should have been employed somewhere and just got into business. But the good news is that thing that you have wrought, starting your business, will keep pushing you. I've written that starting my business, I'll be financially independent and I want to build legacy. So that thing that you have wrought will keep you moving. Even if you move, you're like, you don't have cash flow, even if people are what can I say, are keeping, like, talking about you, women dealing with business and such, you're going to break all this, knowing that you have written somewhere that you want to be financially independent and you want to build a legacy. So, and one thing about that is, you're just not working for yourself. you're just working for a lot of people. I remember myself telling, what if I close my business? My assistant baker will lose a job. The women that I used to like to clean the vegetables, to keep them, to do such, actually they are 10, they are going to lose a job. And how many people are you going to like to cut the plates off? Like you just understand that that burden is way bigger than what you're going to. And we just have to learn how to speak. Like you go somewhere, you speak up, you tell people, I've started a business, I'm this and this, I'm reaching this stage. And upon speaking up, all the challenges that you're going to meet, like you're meeting, the challenges that you're going through every day, you can't like talk about that 3 or 4 times utarabona someone who will come through. So we must learn how to speak up our challenges so that we can just be helped. That's it.
Talking about the challenges, I feel like we're also responding to your question. For me, it was a long journey because of I'm in a critical sector, health. So it means when you are doing, you are manufacturing medical devices. So when we started, we didn't think like all the things they put together. Like you say, oh, I will grab all this discarded material, but you don't know that if I have iPhone, another one has Samsung, they don't have the same plastic. But you had that excitement that you are going to get the raw material. Then you go to test them, they tell you, the regulators, they tell you, nothing. Nothing. You will need to learn a lot to know, because how did you know that this waste is going to give something? So those are the challenges we met, but every time I remember sitting with my co-founder, was like, are you really sure we are going to do this, or we can go back to where we started? I was like, yeah, we get there. We need to learn, to read, do a lot of research. You go to test. Every time we just trying to get the material from all this, because for me I was like, I'm sure there's something that can work from this material. So you had to read, but after reading, from what the Google will tell you, you see all the videos on YouTube, you go back, you go to test. You have to pay for the testing. The result, you are waiting as if you're waiting like a degree. They come out after 2 weeks. Once you read the documents, like but you're almost there, but it's not yet there, but you don't know what is missing. Most of the time, I think for the regulators, I was like, are you sure from something you are looking for? Because if you don't tell me specifically, I'm not there, but what is missing? They couldn't tell you what is missing. They was like, yeah, no one has done this here, so you need to make sure that this we test, it's 100%. But we don't know. You have to figure out. You need to see people who studied this. You have to go. You don't even know. Most of the time I was using LinkedIn to go and like who studied this. I go on the internet, the person who studied this material, I found it's a biomechanical engineers. You have to go and look, people in Rwanda who studied this, you see it, they tell you, oh, we don't know, but you can give us this money, then we try to dig deeper. So it was a challenging, but when in my head, what I had, that I couldn't stop, I was like, I will make this device, because everyone, even me, we are at risk. Because what if, after looking at the numbers, then I see many people, like even in Rwanda, it's around 146,000 people who don't even have those assistive devices. I was like, imagine, these are keep growing. People are aging, accident in the road, you get diabetes, they cut your leg, you need that. So we are all at risk. So if I stop, where are these products? We keep importing, then they will be very expensive, as many people don't afford. So it was that thing like, I need these devices to get here. So you push yourself, but also the team, as she mentioned, you look at your team and say like, okay, if I close, am I going to tell them, go back to find a job? Is it really something really good to do. For me, I was like, no, I will not embarrass myself. I will keep just even pushing, even for them, so that they keep their job. We also keep moving, but we need to make sure everyone who has, there are some people who have the wooden one. These ones, they keep buying them every 3 months. They are also harming environment. I was like, we make sure these people, we replace them with Geuza products. So that's what is behind. Yeah.
Wow. My brain is just like, we have very smart women on the on the panel. I think we'll take a little break. I can see people need a bit of a break. Yes. I said in the first 10 years, I'm going to focus on home and focus all my business ideas to be something that is going to enable me to still take care of my children.
I hear there is money. You cook for big names, of course. Some come in the pocket.
Visit Facebook pages. You can even go there and type grants for women. You will see a lot of grants for women.
You are studying in uni, you can come up with how you can create a business around that.
What if your child's first step into school was their very first step into the future? At Akons International School, every classroom is a launchpad. Every child uniquely known. Every lesson a spark of discovery. Our world-class facilities, including the guided reading program, don't just build skills, they build confidence. From sports to science, from music to languages, your child is never boxed in. Clean spaces, happy faces, global minds rooted in care. Because at Akons International School, wellness, discipline, and joy go hand in hand. We offer Cambridge International program from early years to A levels. Choosing a school isn't just an academic decision. It's a decision about trust, care, and possibility. Imagine more for your child. Choose us today. Because at Akons International School, we inspire and empower. Welcome to Akons International School, Kigali.
Yes, thank you so much, ladies. We're from a short break. I hope we have some energy now. Yeah. So we've heard from everyone's story. We've had everyone's experience in the journey of business. We're now going to discuss like not into our businesses, but particularly women in business. How do you think? I mean, this is my question to all of you. How do you think we can create that motif of young people, young ladies out there? How can you encourage a lady to like grow, like have that mindset of going into business? Like there's this thing which is common, when a person is in college or, you know, studying, they be like, I'm going to have my degree and after that I'll be employed, you know. How can you encourage young people to like be self-employed? Yes, I think that's the better word to use. Self-employed, you know, self-independent on terms of financials. Thank you.
Grace at some point asked, how do you deal with being a mother and being a business person? Like, so many people, even people in the career, in the normal traditional careers, I feel like a balance is a myth. So for me, that's where my challenge came from. After I had finished, I graduated 2019, as I said, and my daughter was still very young, and I already still wanted to have more children. So I spoke with my husband, and we agreed that in the first 10 years of our marriage, I'm going to first focus on helping the children kind of grow. But what many people don't understand is just the fact that you're a housewife doesn't mean that you cannot empower yourself. It doesn't mean that you can't do anything. So I said, in the first 10 years, I'm going to focus on home and focus all my business ideas to be something that is going to enable me to still take care of my children. So understanding the seasons as a woman, if that is your dream, I really wanted to be close to my children in their formative years. So the challenge was, I'm not going to grow as someone who doesn't have that as a priority. And that put a lot of pressure in the first years. Grace were together in the AWE program, and I received the $25,000 of the seed grant. And that was in the peak of COVID. But on top of the challenges of that came with the COVID, there was also this part of saying, okay, I have to get pregnant, I have to give birth. And for me, it was very important that I come up with ideas does not get a lot of effect when I'm away. So it's very important as a woman to understand the seasons, to understand that these children are not going to stay very young all the time, and to understand that if that is not a priority to you, because maybe you have a support system or you have something else figured out, to understand that sometimes I'm going to be away of the home and I don't have to have mom guilt. At some point I had to travel to get out of the country to go and probably do some business out of the country, and the mom guilt would follow me. So I'd say, as mothers, sometimes the society brings pressure on you. How do you balance this? Sometimes seasons, they dictate how you do business, but understanding that not everyone has to go through the same way of the business. So for me, I said, okay, I wrote a cookbook. I said a cookbook will always be sold, whether I'm on maternity, whether I'm breastfeeding, that is fine. She was asking if I have a restaurant. At some point, I had a restaurant in my own home because it was part of things that I could do as I took care of my children. Recently, I was one of the contributors on the first cookbook having Rwandan cuisine called Uruhimbi. If you don't know about it, read about it, find about. It was forwarded by the First Lady. I'm so grateful for that. But because I kept on now start looking for opportunities that align with what I believe in. So it is very important to understand that my journey is not going to look like someone else's. And it doesn't mean that I'm not successful. So as we're doing one of the programs, I keep on doing a lot of business programs. They said, you need to define what success is to you as a person. And for me, one of the success was time freedom. I need to have a freedom to be able to say, okay, my child today, my firstborn does tennis. If she has a tournament, I have to be there. Even if it takes me to be out of the country and leave my job, what I'm doing. So for me, that's what success looks like. So it's very important that as we go through the challenges as women, you understand what are your priorities, what does success look like, and what are you trying to achieve ultimately. Yeah, so the challenge of the pressures, especially external and sometimes even internal, of saying, okay, I don't look serious to people. Sometimes I feel like these people are going to think that I'm not into entrepreneurship journey. But this year I said, okay, now my children are all back to school. I can do full-time jobs, not full-time jobs. I can go into like full-time entrepreneurship. But 10 years ago, that was not the case. But I kept on empowering myself, getting more ideas on how I can do, trying this, trying that. Yeah, so sometimes we succumb to pressures, but it's very important to be authentic to who you are and stay on the course.
Thank you so much. You've talked away like you balance and balancing entrepreneurship and motherhood. But now, what is that one advice you would give to a young person who is now like watching us? She's not a mother, or he is a young gentleman, a young girl who would really want to venture into cooking as a career. What is that one advice you would give him or her, and try to tackle for us one of the challenges that are into the cooking field? So that's the person who's watching, a girl or a young boy, even old people, big people who would like to join, like they know if they come in, these are the challenges and this is how we're going to tackle them. And also tell us more about like the advantages of, you joining the, yes, you've talked about the way you've joined, the way you enjoyed along the way, your kids, how you're balancing, but now tell us the advantages which are into the cooking field. Thank you.
The culinary field is relatively new in Rwanda, like I said. So many years, what would happen is people would come in the industry informally. So maybe they start like a steward. A steward is someone who washes dishes in the hotel. So they get promoted until they get to the chef. We have it's a brigade. We're like soldiers. So the first position that you enter in is called a commissary. So you join, you keep increasing, but starting from start. But now we are seeing people going to school, especially with TVETs that have come in Rwanda. We have Vatel, we have the RTUC, and I mean, people can go in the neighboring countries. So it is starting to peak. But one of the challenges that I saw, especially when I returned, the salary is still really discouraging for many people. I paid 5,000 per semester when I was studying. I worked hard and did all kind of things and paid for it. So coming back and you start being paid 100,000, for me was really discouraging. So I didn't even think that was an option. So you find so many young people that are studying, especially abroad, are not able to come back to the country. And truthfully, the country needs us. They need chefs. They need, I think I saw a video that was going around. The president was talking about one event that we had. And he said, everything was good. But when people started complaining, they complained about food only. And they said that our quantities are very small, the food doesn't taste good, and it's overpriced. And it can only be really fixed if we get so many locals, especially coming up and loving the craft and enjoying. But the truth of the matter is the fee, especially for the locals, is still very little. You'll find international people coming in and getting a lot of money, and majority of the time they will not even train the locals. And you'll stay there, and even after 10 years, you're still earning money that is not enough. So for me, how I tackled this is I said, I want to be part of the solution to the country, but I'm not going to go in a commercial kitchen. So I said, I'm going to train myself other skills that I was not trained in the cooking school to be able to make sense. So I do trainings in schools I help kitchens to come up with sustainable kitchen equipment, to come up with menus, but all those things, I studied them, but I equipped myself more. So if you're watching and you want to be a chef, there are so many things that you can do as a chef, not necessarily just cooking. You can be a food engineering, a menu engineer. You can be, you can come up with business models for small restaurants. You can go into trainings. You can be a food critic. If you have an eye for good food, good taste for food, and you can write, you can be into, you can be a food blogger. So there, in this generation that we're in, we have so many opportunities. When I was approached to be part of the people that wrote Uruhimbi, I realized that as a chef, you need writing skills. You can know everything that you you can cook, but if you cannot write it, no one is going to know how to do. You're not going to be able to pass it on. So it is very difficult. At some point when I was in Dubai, I stood for 18 hours. So as a mother, as a woman, as any person, any human being, if you're on your feet for 18 hours with very minimal breaks, you're going to feel it. But the love for the craft, knowing that the more practice I get in, the more I'm able to get those kind of recommendations. Being able, I've cooked for the First Lady, I've cooked for, for big names. But the only way you can get there is my first 30 minutes every day, I have to watch something new to learn something in the kitchen, because I know what I know, the skills that are coming, the technology that is coming. If I don't keep training myself, I'm going to be irrelevant, So knowing that, yes, you've studied, or maybe you've not even studied and you came up informally, but you can change your way and build it up in a way that gives you a platform to do more. Really, there's a lot more that you can do with cooking than meet the eye, but you just have to dig deeper. Yeah.
Thank you so much. So people watching us, young people or even old people, you can join. She's here to help you, to train you. I hear there is money. You cook for big names, of course, some come money in the pocket. So also talking about agriculture, one thing is that we always need food, we always want to eat. So people watching us or anyone else, please join agriculture sector, because the country got us. And especially for ladies and young girls, women, we are still few in the industry. So this is an opportunity for us to come and tackle and come and compete with these big men who are into agriculture, because what men can do, we can do better as women. So please come join agriculture. Thank you.
Well, okay. Okay, question.
Yeah, I'll ask her a question. A lot of people want to do agriculture, but we don't have enough land. So for someone who is watching us and is probably wanting to go into vegetables or spices, how do you start when you don't have any capital? Is there anything that the government is doing? I've heard that some people get access to the swamps. What is the process? Do you know the procedures of people to get access to the swamps, or the government subsidies on the plots? Do you know how that works? Maybe you can help us with that information.
Thank you so much. You see, first of all, when you want to do business, you have to do market survey, market research. So like we always studied in economics, there was that part of where the government gives subsidies to the farmers and even young people who want to join agriculture. Because recently we had BDF, but now it has merged with BRD. So there is money to fund the projects for agriculture, because you see, agriculture is the backbone of the economy of the whole world. And trust me, in the next few years to come, Africa is going to be the big market for the whole world when it comes to food, agriculture. So coming to that thing of there is no enough land, we have land. But the thing is, we all want to come nearer. You see, I stay in Kigali, I want to farm nearby my, my place. No, please go deep. There are some big lands there, deep there in the villages where you can do agriculture. There is access to that. Thank you.
Okay, talking about the capital, I've realized that not only the government or open hands for youth, for young women, young women has been like, we are about gender equality, and the government is trying to open hands for women to just have something to do. So there is a huge amount of money to give to small businesses, mainly women. You will see applications, visit LinkedIn pages, visit Facebook pages. You can even go there and type grants for women. You will see a lot of grants for women. It just takes some minutes just to complete, do documentations, do the research and such to get that amount of money. So talking about the capital in terms of money, in terms of land, in terms of machineries and everything, the government has been tackling all those challenges. So the capital is no longer an issue when starting a business. Me myself has started with the US Embassy, and now I'm into the program of BPN again, which is helping entrepreneur. Like from the starting, you're going with seed funding, then you go into scaling funding. So this is to tell you that the government and partners has got you as women. So a part of capital has no longer been a problem. But let's dive into the bias. Women bias, the culture, the Rwandan culture, women being home, not doing such thing. I have seen that thing of, in business, we need networking, go outside, seeing people. And most of the time, I'm a young lady. I am not married yet. In the networking event, you will see mostly or 60% or 70% are young ladies that are unmarried. So we would encourage the partners in marriage that are men to just let women go outside 6 p.m. to 7:30. It's not it's nothing. Go and network, see one person who can help you. I've been talking about just telling someone your problem, your challenges. If we have met as ladies in a networking event, this will help us to just see my partner in business is going through these challenges. How can we tackle this? Or just tell her how I have tackled a certain challenge in my business. This will help us just to scale, to know how I can tackle that challenge that has just been a barrier to my business. I think that's it. Having time for networking, and again using social media to just see where the capital is, the money is, so as to start. There are just people who are funding ideas. There are those people who are funding business that are already started. So don't be like stuck that you have an idea in head and you can't just start it. Thank you.
I think it's very important for women to have, not just women, but in general, in business, networks and connections to people who push you very, very far. I want to talk about just like the culture of networking and having a community of women in Rwanda. I think it's something that we should really encourage more. I think it's a little bit lacking. I think in so many ways we get to a point where we want to keep everything to ourselves, and it doesn't help us to grow and to learn. And I think it would be really good if we, in in so many ways, if we just started a culture of helping each other out as women. It's the only way we're going to actually get far. And on that point, I wanted to ask you guys, what is a quality that you see in women leaders or in women in business that you admire and that you want to emulate? Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I think before I answer your question, I was going back to what she was saying, asking about the younger people who are still even in college, who are looking for employment, who are even feeling like, I graduate, I need a job. For me, what I would also encourage them is just, even when they're still in a college, there's a lot of problems to solve, to be honest. It's like a matter of being creative. Even if you are studying accounting, there's many problems you can solve in the accounting sector. That's something that you can create a job into that. There are many people, like even from the accounting, who don't even know how to pay their taxes, those bookkeeping. That's something, even if you are into accounting, you are studying in uni, you can come up with how you can create a business around that. It's not about, oh, you will sit, even if you are studying mathematics, you feel like, oh, I want to do a business in maybe a health sector. But again, you can start from what you are studying. Don't jump like, oh, where we get a job after, but you can look around the courses you are doing in uni or in the college, or even there are some who don't go to the college or even university, who wants to start something. Maybe okay, those ones we don't encourage them to not finish uni, because there's also other scholarship for that, for to continue their studies. But even when you are studying, you can find a business that you can do into that sector without even feeling like, I want to go into agriculture. Yeah, if you are even in the food engineering, there's a lot in agriculture you can come up with. There can be manufacturing of tomato paste, something like, there's a lot that can be created. So I just want to tell them, like, it's about, don't limit yourself. Don't even feel like, oh, I will use my studies to just get a good job somewhere. Maybe it will even delay, but you can even do that job, but also creating your own business, then also help our society. But for me, the challenges I have seen maybe in the health sector, that many people, okay, we know them once we get there, but you don't know them before. It's just to do a lot of research, but also look at the regulations. Because sometimes you find, like me, I created something, like made in Rwanda, it's devices, but again, I figured out there was no standard. So you need to go back to see how do you create that. But if you can start by learning, not only from us who have who are in the health sector, but even on a Google or what, then you feel like, okay, maybe I want to do a business in the health sector. Try to read, know the regulations, know everything that you require to get there, because the journey might be longer than someone who is doing maybe who is just in agriculture. I think there are different regulations are different in those sectors, but you need to read a lot and know step by step. Even ask, as what you are saying about networking, network with other people. Just have the curiosity to even start a business, because it will not come just like that. All of us will have said that that mindset came at a younger age, but I feel like there's also people who are watching who are even feeling that. But they can start reading, try even where from the courses you are doing, you can find something to just create a business and you solve those problems. Yeah, and coming to your question, we have seen how our society changing because of ladies. I feel like for me, when I was looking into leadership, let me call it leadership, when I was looking at Michelle Obama, I was like very inspired. I was like, okay, how does it take to even not only being the first lady, but also looking in the way like, how do you stand on your feet and be able to talk about even the challenges the whole world is facing, even coming to entrepreneurs, like how do you get to even stand in front of people and be able even have that let me say just don't feel that confident to feel like I can speak out about the problem that the world are facing. Then we see how it's going to be tackled all around.
Thank you so much. To your question, like the quality to admire, like in women all over the world, it's the boldness. Doing business, it requires you to be bold. Business is not for the faint-hearted ones. We could be talking here, have my own experience, you have your own experience, but trust you me, business, it's not for the faint-hearted. So that boldness in women, like she said, she admired Michelle Obama, how she did whatever she was doing, because she was bold, she was confident on what she was doing. So yeah, it's all about being bold. So when you come into business, just be bold. Boldness will take you places, open doors. Like for me, I admired the former Minister of Agriculture. She's one of the main inspiration for me to join agriculture, Agnes Karibata. There is a way she could be, this thing called the Umushikirano, she's tackling with these projects, Murenje VUP, Ambafumbire Mvaruganda, there's this video which normally trends talking about how you could yeah, for the pigs, that thing for the pigs. Yes, the insemination, amaganga nguyingurube, that thing. It sounds funny, but the way she was always explaining the project, now today, after how many years, you're seeing the outcome, the positive outcome. So if Agnes Kalibata can do it, I can also do it.
Yes, coming to your question, I believe women have potential. Yes, ladies have that potential, inner potential that people can't see with their bare eyes. But I believe women have potential. So the potential in women can be boosted. Let me just say it like that. The potential in women can be boosted into something bigger that people can't believe we can do. So there is something that kept crossing my mind. To the advice that I can give these young ladies out there. There are some ladies sitting at their homes seeking for jobs, applying day to day, like keeping applying, waiting for opportunities that can be brought by other people. But I believe technology is running so fast. And most of the people, I believe 80% of the youth nowadays keep scrolling on social medias. So we can use the social media to, make profits out of it. If we do use social media in a proper way, I believe we can make something out of it. So if you're watching this, please use social media in a right way. Yes, social media can distract people. A person can scroll all day, speaking out of experience to people that I saw, to people that, are near. So if you can use social media in a proper way, it can, create something big. And having potential in what you like. I mean, if you like something, there are people that, don't know what they even want in life. But if you sit there, meditating on your life and you be like, I want to be this person, go for it. Everything has a start, and you can't be a better person without starting something. So if you feel like you can do this, please do it. And there are some people who think there are some jobs or there are some things that men can do, women can't. I want to let me say I want to cut this off. there are things that we can do that men can do. There are things that men can do that we can do better. There is this major that people fear so much, as in politics. I believe women are there already, but there is this one. I did tourism in college, and I did it at university as well. So when I did tourism, I was like, I wanted to be a tour guide, a professional tour guide. And I had so many thoughts from people. There is no a girl tour guide. People can't believe you. You can't go out there and explain like a thousand types of birds. You can't explain 1,000 types of grass, all that, this and that. But I believe if a man can be able to sit down, study about the birds, and be able to explain to, a group of 8 people, and they be convinced about that, I believe I can do that. And that's where I got an inspiration of, I'm also an owner of a tourism company. I didn't mention about that. But I do own a tourism company because I believed in myself and I wanted to go for it. So I just wanted to, be self convinced about what I wanted, and I went for it, and I'm now self-independent. I believe there is things that I can tackle, like business criticism, life criticism, that I can tackle that I believed I couldn't at that time. But as time passes, we thank God. I think that's it.
I would also want to answer what Sharon was asking. I admire anyone that is willing to share their knowledge or their time to mentor anyone that is struggling, especially in business. When I just come to Rwanda, it is very important, if you're watching this, to understand your industry, understand the people that have made it, and be humble enough to reach out and learn from them. The first person I reached out when I came to Rwanda, may her soul rest in peace, Carmen. I sent her an email and told her, Carmen, I need to meet you. She had never met me, and went and just talked and talked and talked and talked. But until she died, she would really look for time and work with me, and I admired that about her. She would make sure that if there's a gig that they need a chef, she'll connect me. She'll look into my eyes and she's like, you're getting off track. And that held me accountable. After her death, now I have someone else, and I met her actually in one of the networking recently, Jackie, you know her. And as she was sharing, after she has shared, I was like, I want to walk through this woman's feet. And I reached out, and by God's grace, she has been meeting me as many times as possible. I'll send her a WhatsApp message, and she will walk with me even when I'm not so sure. Those are just women, but I have 2 chefs, men, one in the country, one out of the country, that have allowed, when I'm doing research, I would say, okay, I don't know how to cook this. How do you do it? What do you think? How about this? So being able to say, okay, I don't have all the solutions to everything in my industry, and being humble enough to say, let me look out to mentors. And if you're an older person and you have experience, please, please, please spare some time to mentor someone, to show them their path. They say that in Rwanda, we have a weakness of not wanting to show someone where we've passed. We'll say, oh, I started with a feather to start a chicken business, when we're just exaggerating to make it seem like it's just specifically for the very few people. But really, if you have figured out a solution, if you've figured out a code, give it to someone younger than you. And also, if you're young, don't kumira mababa and think that you can't learn from some people. Sometimes you're learning from people ahead of you. Sometimes you're learning from people that have not even started, to gain there are insights. Sometimes you're learning from someone who is not in business, from the questions they ask you. Sometimes people ask you and you realize that you've actually not thought so deep in your business model. So not being offended and understanding that, you can learn from anyone. Any conversation can be a learning time. Yeah.
Thank you so much, ladies. I think we're coming to a close of the discussion. It has been amazing listening to each of you. Maybe before we end, we can just go around and each of us can say like a word of encouragement to women in business, a token of something you'd like to share with them, and then we can close.
Well, thank you so much. Anyone there out willing to start a business, to venture into entrepreneurship, please don't wait for tomorrow. It's now or never. So think big, start now. Start small, and along the way you reach there. So please join entrepreneurship. It's sweet.
I would say for me, a piece of advice I'd give to young women is that one of my favorite quotes is that embarrassment is the price you pay for success. So you have to be willing to be embarrassed. You have to be willing to do things that fail, and you have to be willing for people to laugh at you if you're going to actually make it in business. You also have to be willing to fail, because I promise you and I guarantee you, you will fail. Some of us sitting here, we have businesses that we've been talking about. Tomorrow they may fail, and that's okay. We will continue, we'll stand up and we'll go forward. So don't be afraid to be embarrassed. Don't be afraid to work hard. Don't be afraid to fail, because it's just a part of life.
Thank you. You just mentioned about failing, and I wanted to also talk about that, because failing is a part of growth, actually. Yeah, because if you don't fail, it's so hard for you to succeed. So for me, what I can tell the young ladies or even young boys who are out there, just be creative. Don't wait to look for big thing. You can even start. Maybe your business is even in front of your eyes. The problem you have to solve is even in front of your eyes. You need to look into that, learn about that, create something that can create a solution that can solve a society.
You just need to look around and see what you love doing. So you can, even if something bores you, you can just say, I'm doing what I love, and I know 100% this thing will take me far. So that's what I can say about.
I want to say, as much as possible, look for courses. There are very many free courses in business, in marketing, in taxes. I've seen actually Rwanda Revenue sending out messages for entrepreneurs to go and learn about taxes. Taxes can mess you up. So be willing to learn. Don't put so much pressure on yourself. There's this whole narrative that you need to figure out what you want to do immediately. Sometimes you want to be an entrepreneur, but you haven't figured out. Try different things until you meet that thing that makes sense, but also makes business sense. Sometimes the things that we love are not going to make money. If you want to be an entrepreneur, unless you're doing it for fun, I've been telling people that the model that I was using to train people made me happy, made everyone happy, but it was not a core, it was not bringing in money. So you need to be honest to yourself when things are not making sense. If you've done the same thing for 3 years and you're not bringing in money, maybe something is wrong. Change the business model. Be willing to be embarrassed and start over. People keep on asking, oh, you're doing something else. Yes, if you're doing something else, you're doing something else. Until you figured out something that makes sense to the market, that makes sense to you, keep looking, keep searching until you find it. It is fine not find it in the first month, in the first year, even in the first 5 years. Instead of quitting, keep trying until you find it. Surround yourself with like minds. go to networking events, look for a friend who is in the entrepreneurship journey, look for a support system. As mothers, if you don't have someone taking care of your children, you're going to break. So get a support system that works. If you need to take your children to a daycare so that you can concentrate, do it. Don't feel bad. If you need to go for a trip, talk to your partner to step in. It is fine. A balance is not so easy, but try your best, give it your best, show up authentically, and everything will be fine. I guarantee you.
Yes, thank you all for the ideas. I mean, it's not easy to give, ideas after the 5 good ideas out there. It seems like you said it all, but to someone watching this, if I can do it, you can do it. And yes, it might take a while, it might take a very long time, but work hard pays. Yes, hard work pays. Yeah, hard work pays. And like sleepless nights, if you have sleepless nights, I guarantee you it's gonna pay off at some time. So thank you so much for the ideas. Thank you so much for the experience. And I think there's no one left with a word.
We can wrap up.
Oh, okay. So as we sum up the conversation, we would like to, extend our heartfelt gratitude to the Youth Unmoderated Dialogues. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I believe this is a good opportunity to all of us here. Yes, we appreciate the concern, and we hope to be here next time. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yes, they need to subscribe, and to all people that heard from us, if you think you have something or an idea to reach to one of us, feel free to. I believe that's it.
Yes.
Thank you.